No Sting, no interest. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling for your AEW Collision review, or as I'm going to call this one, a recap. Because I didn't watch the full show. I have checked out some of the highlights online. AEW, they do upload clips to their YouTube channel, and I'm not going to lie, I watched them instead of watching this show because tonight is AEW Revolution, and I just didn't have time to sit through 2 hours of Collision. I'd rather sit and watch Revolution and see Sting in his final match. Plus, there was no Sting on this show, therefore, I didn't really feel like I had to watch it. Just overall, I don't think this show really contributed much to Revolution. Pretty much everything was already set for the pay-per-view, so this didn't really add much. It was a very skippable episode of Collision, in my opinion, and that's why I have kind of skipped it. So we're only going to do a recap here. Opening match was Buddy Matthews taking on some unknown person. We never find out who it is because we get that junkie Briscoe coming out, Meth Head Briscoe. He comes out, he attacks Buddy Matthews, and they end up just fighting to like a no contest. So I thought it was a better intro, a better start to the show than what we normally get. Sometimes in Collision you get 25-minute, 30-minute FTR matches. I mean, nobody wants to see that. So, I mean, I thought it was a fast-paced start, a quick brawl, and then we move on to the next thing. So, yeah, no, definitely a better way to start Collision. It wasn't great by any means, but better than sitting through a 20-minute match to start the show, because that's how you lose interest big time. Unless it's a match that has been promoted heavily and has been advertised heavily, I don't think you should be starting with that kind of match. And even then, I just think a longer match should be the main event. It feels weird when shows open up with 20-25-minute matches. I don't really like it. Anyway, up next we've got a promo from Swerve Strickland. He says that he cannot trust Adam Page after Dynamite. I think Strickland is going to be the face going into this match, although you could argue there's no real faces. It's almost like they're all tweeners. I wouldn't really say they're faces, and I wouldn't say that any of them are outright heels. Samoa Joe does feel like more like a tweener, and Swerve Strickland and Adam Page, their feud has kind of been flipping and flopping. So at the moment, yeah, I'd say it's almost like three tweeners that we've got going into this world title match. Anyway, Strickland ended the promo with Whose House, and it's obviously Swerve's house. So, I mean, it was an okay promo. Will Swerve Strickland, by the way, become the first ever African-American AEW champion, or black, or whatever? What's the correct term these days? I'm just going to say black. I've never really understood the African-American thing. Like, do you really care if you're African, if you've never been to Africa? Why can't you just be a black American or a white American? Because you don't refer to a white American as white, European American. You don't really do that. So yeah, fuck it. Can Swerve Strickland become the first ever black AEW World Champion? We will find out. I don't think he will, though. I think Samoa Joe's going to win. Second match was Penta El Miedo Cero versus Brian Keith versus Dante Martin in a qualifier for the jobber match at Revolution. So these three guys obviously trying to compete to get into the match, the 8-man, whatever it is, scramble match. I don't even know if you get a title shot for winning that, but it's a jobber match with Jericho in it, and Dante Martin won. Dante Martin defeating Brian Keith and Penta. I thought Penta would have won this. Brian Keith has just signed. I thought either of those two would have won it over Dante Martin. I didn't see Dante Martin winning, but I mean, whatever. Then we've seen Hangman. He was walking backstage. He says, "Do I look hurt, dumbass?" And yeah, I mean, Hangman at this stage, he does feel like a heel. Out the three, I would say he's the heel. We then got Mariah May versus Angelica Risk. I mean, Angelica Risk. I think it's a risk putting her on TV. And it's just your typical women's match in AEW where they'll drag some nobody, some unemployed person that we've never seen, and they just stick them in a match and they lose in 2 minutes, and we're supposed to sit here and suspend our disbelief as if we don't know who's going to win. Of course we know who's going to win. You've got an established person on the roster, someone who's got an actual name, versus someone who's just, having their first appearance. It was obviously going to be a win for Mariah May, so not surprised. After this, Toni Storm came out. Purrazzo came out, said that she loves how Storm's got her head so far up her ass, and that she's going to beat her at the pay-per-view to becoming the world champion, the women's world champion. And she says that Storm's going to struggle to wipe her ass with 2 broken arms. So we'll see. Will Deonna Purrazzo I mean, can she back up her threats of breaking arms? Probably not. Storm, I think, is the best female in AEW right now. I mean, I'm not massive on her, but I do think she's the best. Then we got a match, I think it was 8-man tag up next. Was it Max Caster, Bowens, and the Guns versus, I think it was the Dark Order. Why are the Dark Order not released yet? Seriously. What is the fucking point? Bowens, Caster, and Austin Gunn then defeated the Dark Order in 8.5 minutes. Just another filler match. I mean, Jesus Christ, what are they doing here? I don't get it. And also, Bullet Club Gold and the Acclaim just being thrown together, 6 men. Like, this has completely ruined both factions, in my opinion. It's horrendous. These 6 guys just teaming up every week and cutting the same crappy promos. I don't get it. I thought maybe they were going to team up for like 1 week, but it's been about probably 3 months now since these two factions came together. We then got Lexi Nair backstage with Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, and Stokely Hathaway. At Revolution, Nightingale and Statlander are going to kick Blue and Hart's ass, apparently, so that's what we're going to get. Hathaway said it's going to happen, so therefore, I guess he is a man of his word. Tony Schiavone then introduced Wardlow. He came out. Wardlow has been completely buried over the past 2 years. This guy felt big. It felt like he was being pushed. It almost felt like he was getting some sort of Goldberg streak back in the day when AEW kind of started. But ever since the whole turn with him and MJF, it killed him. And the guy's just went nowhere since. So we'll see if he can regain his position on the card. But I'm not convinced. He says he's going to win the All-Star Scramble match. Again, I don't know. I think he says that the winner of the All-Star Scramble match gets a title shot, but I don't know what title it's for, so I'm assuming maybe it's the world title, but I mean, it could be any title, I guess. Who knows? What I do know is Wardlow isn't going to win it, so that doesn't really matter. Chris Jericho came out, interrupted Wardlow. Wardlow and Jericho were having a bit of a promo. We had Powerhouse Hobbs out there, and we just had a bunch of guys who I don't really know. But yeah, Powerhouse Hobbs was beating down Jericho. What the hell did Jericho do to deserve to be in this match with this feud with these people? I don't know. Lexi Nair was then backstage with Serena Deeb. She says that Deeb's the most experienced wrestler in the women's locker room, and lately we're seeing another side of her, and it's like, who cares? She's the oldest woman, and she says she's the woman of 1,000 holds. Is that anything to be proud of? Wow, look, she's the oldest woman on the roster, great, let's celebrate. No, fuck, that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing, as DDP would say. We then got Private Party, Mark Quinn and Isa Cassidy versus Daniels and Matt Sydal. Daniels, I don't know what Daniels is doing. Since when was Daniels' teammate Matt Sydal? I mean, Matt Sydal, Daniels, Daniels should probably just retire or work backstage, be a producer. I mean, I think this guy's career's done. He must be, 54 now, and he's floating about from jobber match to jobber match to tag team to tag team. Private Party win. When you lose to Private Party, then you know you're in trouble. And again, this was another filler match. Just offered absolutely nothing here. Speaking of nothing, Thunder Rosa defeated Cassandra Golden. I mean, what the hell is this? A 2-minute match here. Thunder Rosa wins. I don't get it. People used to bash WWE because they gave the women's matches like 4 or 5 minutes. The women barely get 2 minutes on AEW. I mean, so many women's matches you'll see, whether it be Collision or Dynamite. I'm pretty sure there's 2 women's matches tonight, and they haven't even went a combined total of 5 minutes. So it's crazy how much Tony Khan, and I'm not bashing him because, like, fuck the women, but I mean, I'm not bashing him. It's just crazy how no one else bashes him. It's just crazy how he doesn't get criticised yet. WWE used to back in the day when they would put on, 2, 4, 5, 6 minute women matches. So it is what it is. We then got a video recap of Sting, Darby Allin, Ric Flair and the Bucks from Dynamite because Sting wasn't here tonight, so the best they could do was a video recap, which unfortunately sucked. The recap didn't suck, it just sucked that we didn't get to see Sting. And then we got an 8-man tag match in the main event, featuring, honestly, a bunch of bums. I mean, we had Daniel Garcia in there, Christian Cage was in there. Other than that, this was a bum match, seriously, an absolute bum fucking match. And we had Christian hitting the kill switch on Garcia. Well, he tried to. It ended with Christian being chased up the ramp by Daniel Garcia. That's how the show ended. So there you go. It was a tape show. Wasn't really expecting much. There was so many fucking just jobber matches and this throwaway matches. So for me, I can't give it anything more than a 1. Wasn't a good show. I mean, at least they didn't have long, boring 25-minute matches, but they just had long, boring, short matches. And I know that doesn't make sense, but honestly, a boring 7-minute match in AEW with jobbers, it does feel like 20 minutes. So that's my reasoning for that. A 1 out of 10, guys. Catch you in the next one. Till then, been Fog Wrestling. Peace.